Everybody still alive?
Yes. I'm not so sure.
Oh, there is a petition. Let's see what it is. Ah, okay, not a petition. Where? Okay, there you are. Very nice. What class is Kathopanishad? Okay. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Varam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharya Nachiketase cha. To complete this Samhata argument, what is that? That is the assemblage. An assemblage is always made up, put together, and that which is put together is Anatma, not Atma number one. And the second reason why the Samhata, the assemblage, is not Atma is because it is Jada. Only Jada things will lend themselves to putting together. It is not whole. The second reason. Third reason Samhata is not Atma is because it is in the service of something that is Asamhata, not put together. And this is these many verses, many shlokas we have seen, and these three things we have to keep in mind. First, it is not Atma. Why? Because it is put together. Second, because it is put together, it is Jada. Third, because it is put together, it is not for its own sake. For whose sake it is? Somebody else's sake. And who is that somebody? It has to be a Chetana, something Chetana, not Jada. So Jada for Jada's sake, it makes no sense. Okay? Why did you build this house? For the sake of my other house. That doesn't make any sense. And so here, this is something which has been very well analyzed starting with the Puram Ekadashadvaram. So this whole body is Samhata or Asamhata? Samhata, put together, and that intelligence itself is the Atma for whose sake it is put together. Just like a person who is buying a house will say the kitchen should go here. And in my last house, the kitchen was terrible. So I am going to make the kitchen very big and airy. Like this, the person plans. And another person says, okay, I want a study room. Because in the living room, if I study, then that is no good. I am not able to pay attention. So here should be the study, here should be the kitchen, here should be the living room. It's all planned out when? Beforehand itself. And it is executed for who? The people staying in the house. The house is not for the sake of the house, nor for the sake of another house. It is for the sake of the people living there. And for whom, who enjoy in the house, who are then known as the indwellers of the house. That's what we saw in the first verse in great detail. Then when we come to the sticky situation of prana, what happens? There is a doubt. Because, don't do this right now, but if you hold your breath, then what will happen? You will turn purple. That's what will happen. If you keep holding the breath, you will turn purple. Agitation will come, anxiety will come, and you feel like you're dying. And it's not just the body dying, you yourself are dying, because the association with the body is there, and all the tadatmyas, all the identifications just feel as though one is about to pass away if the breath goes. And indeed the body passes away. The body doesn't pass away. The Chidabhasa leaves the body. The Jivatma, which is called Chidabhasa, which has borrowed the Chit, leaves the body. And so there will be a confusion about prana. So prana is highlighted and it has its own verse. Na pranena na apanena jivati martyaha. Martyaha na jivati pranena. The person who is alive is not alive because of prana. Anyena tu jivanti yasmin etau pranapanau. Pranapanau doesn't mean respiration. Pranapanau means sukshma sharira. What is that? So sukshma sharira factors. Factors comprising the sukshma sharira. Yasmin etau upashritau. Where they rest, that is the one who is for whom the prana is. The prana is to make the body well ventilated. Apana and all these things are to open the windows. All these mechanisms are there. And so therefore, this prana is not the cause of making this body alive. And we talked about brain death. Prana function is there. Heart function is there, but still there is no person at all. Person is not available. So that shows it's not by prana alone one lives. And summing up the argument, it says that what does it say? Where were we? We were in the middle in the Bhashya. Hold on, I'll just find that place. Asamhata, yeah. So where is that? That is here. Okay. So we saw atah itarena eva samhata pranadi vilakshanena tu sarve samhataha santah jivanti pranan dharayanti. And before that we saw swarthena asamhatena parena kenachit अप्रयुक्तेन संहतानाम अवस्थानम न संभवति न दृष्टम. How न दृष्टम? लोके गृहादीनाम लोके. So what does that mean? There is no possibility in the world, even in a regular example in the world, forget Atma and all this, there is no possibility of of something that is assembled coming up on its own, without intelligence, without buddhi, without chaitanya there, something will not assemble itself together. So much so for the argument that all the molecules came in the shape of kidneys, all the molecules came in the shape of brain, that too infallibly, so that the brain doesn't leak. This is very good. And then what? The kidneys don't keep holding the water. Thank God. But this requires intelligence. And here, some people do not accept the intelligence. They have a particular name, and then they have this. What is that? There's some Sahajavadins or something like that. And what do? They say that everything because of nature, because of Prakriti, they are like a spin-off of the Sankhyas. So Sankhya also says that, and so they just say things just happen, and then so the brain formed itself. It samhatad itself on its own. No, nothing samhatas itself. Okay? Yes. It has to be put together by a conscious, intelligent agency in which rests knowledge. And so that is talked about here. So swarthena means not selfish, swartha here, swarthena, for its own purpose. Swarthena means for its own purpose, asamhatena, parena kenachit aprayuktam. Aprayuktam means without somebody who can benefit from the house, without somebody who is other than the house, parena, without somebody who is not put together part by part like the house is, in the absence of such a person, samhatanam avasthanam nadrishtam, nothing that is can be put together without the intelligence conscious being. Like even in our example, grihadinam loke tatha pranadinamapi samhatatvat bhavitum arhati. You need to extend the same logic, says Adi Shankara. Tatha, in the same manner. So, evam sati, if this is the case, even with regard to a small house, there is an intelligence and a conscious being ordering the house for its own sake, then in the same thing, pranadinam, prana and all the other components of the Sukshma Sharira, Adipadat, pranadinam api, samhatatvat, bhavitum arhati. So, samhatatvat, what is that? Anatma bhavitum arhati. It is not Atma. It is not the cause of life. Ataha itarena eva samhata pranadi vilakshanena tu sarve samhataha santah jivanti pranan dharayanti. So, tasmat, because of this, therefore, itarena. Itarena means by something else, by some other person, by some other entity, by some other agent. So, this samhata, this pranadi samhata is run by what? Itarena means by something else. What is that something else? Samhatadi vilakshanena. So, that which is separate from things put together. Sarve samhataha santah jivanti. So, all the beings live. So, pranan dharayanti. Everything becomes alive because of something else other than that which is put together. And the five pranas do their function. For who? For Atma. The Atma alone, therefore, is the cause of life. Atma is the cause of life. And then this is what we should not forget. Atma alone is the cause of life, and because of that, so jivanti pranan dharayanti. So somebody is there who runs the samhata, who makes sure it functions properly, who not only puts it together but also maintains it. That srishti, sthiti, laya of what? Of the samhata is given here to show that it runs by something else, not by the pranas. Don't run themselves, they cannot run themselves. So and what is that? Next sentence points out, yasmin samhata vilakshane atmani sati parasmin etau pranapanau चक्षुरादिभिः संहतौ upashritau. So, itarena tu jivanti. Itarena tu jivanti, we saw pranan dharayanti. Who? Martyaha. So, not only martyaha, but this samhata, the assemblage also becomes alive because of something else. That which makes the assemblage alive is not part of the assemblage. That which breathes life into the assemblage is not part and parcel of the assemblage. Ataha, therefore, we saw that. Then that itarena, what is that itarena? By which everyone lives, by which sarve jivanti. Here it is said, yasmin, in which samhata vilakshane atmani. In which means what? Which is that which? In this atma. What is this atma? Samhata vilakshane. Separate from the samhata. Vilakshana, standing out. Why does Atma stand out? Because it is outstanding, that's why. So, in this Atma which stands apart from the assemblage, which stands apart from the assemblage, samhata vilakshane atmani sati, parasmin means something else. This, all of them are in seventh case, okay? Yasmin, samhata vilakshane atmani sati, parasmin, all of them are in seventh case, all of them are qualifying the word Atma. Yasmin Atmani, Yasmin Parasmin Atmani means what is Parasmin Atmani? Paramatmani. In this Ishvara, now it is Ishvara because the intelligence belongs to who? Ishvara. So Parasmin Atmani, if we put together what? Paramatmani. In that Ishvara. So in this Paramatma, in this Ishvara, which is in the form of Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and this Jnanam is what? This Jnanam is nothing but the intelligence which is made this body alive. And then Etau means Pranapanau means Chakshuradi Vyapara, all of them Samhatau, all of them rest. All of them, samhatau, all of them are assembled and do their own functions. Samhatau means do their own functions. In the tradition, on some days you can make, what is that? Panchabhakshya Paramanna. This is a type of a feast. Very nice feast it is, okay? So then what is there in this feast? 5 types of vegetable dishes, okay? 5 types of rice. And then what else? 5 types of sweets, desserts, and then 5 types of bread. That's only 4. What is the other one? 5 types of salads. So yeah, dals or salads. Anyway, 5 items of 5 types are made. Okay, and if you eat all of it, 5 days in the bathroom. So this Panchabhakshya, it is made and offered to Bhagavan and then we eat. It is some kind of a special, not every day obviously, nobody can eat like that. On marriage and special days you make this kind of a feast. So here the pranas are cooking up the feast. 5 pranas, and then what else? 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, and of course the last assemblage is only 4. Manaha, Buddhi, Chittam, Ahankara. 1 is missing but doesn't matter. This kalapa of 4, Mana Adi, all of them are making this, offering this feast for who? Paramatma. Where is this Paramatma? Enjoying the feast in the form of this put together body, the activities of the ears and the eyes and the sense organs. Each one is a dish. Okay, various dishes. Who is the as though upabhokta? Atma is the as though enjoyer sitting in the body. So the pancha prana, the feast is not for the people who cook it. So who is cooking it? The prana panau. Prana panau are the cooks. So the Sukshma Sharira is the cook here, and the cook is cooking for whom? Not for themselves. They may cook for themselves, but right now they are hired to cook for this particular feast. So they are busy making 5 of everything for whom? For the guest. And Atma is the holy sacred guest in this body, mind, sense complex, and all the intelligence of how to do this samhati rests in whom? Atma. So tasmin upashritau yasya asamhatasya arthe pranapanadi svavyaparam kurvan vartate samhatasan satato anyah siddhah iti abhiprayah. There is nothing to defeat this argument now. It is complete. And how is it complete? Yasya asamhatasya, for which unput together thing, which is the Atma, for which unput together thing, prana and pana are engaged in all their activities. They are cooking, they are cleaning, they are keeping everything together. All this for the sake of whom? And then, so all the put together things are offering their activities to whom? Saha Atma Tataha Anyaha is separate from all of them. This is established. This is Siddhaha iti Abhiprayah. Then Lord Yama is on a roll. Then he promises two things to who? Nachiketa. Hantata idam pravakshyami guhyam brahma sanatanam yatha cha maranam prapya atma bhavati gautama. Little knowledge of Sanskrit is dangerous because the second line will look funny. Maranam prapya, having gained death. Atma bhavati Gautama. Atma becomes Gautama Buddha. Something like that. If we don't know, we can take it like that. But Gautama we already saw. What is Gautama? Nachiketa. Nachi's pet name. Why? Because that was his daddy's pet name also. So, and also it is not Gautama. So that means it is vocative. That should be our giveaway. Since it is vocative, what does it mean? It means Nachiketa is being addressed as Hey Gautama. Hanta. Hanta means yay. It's a expression. It's just an expression. Yippee, yay, hey listen, like that. Anything you can say, you know. Sometimes in the context it also means alas. Alas. But here it doesn't mean alas because bad news is not being given. Okay? Upanishad is always what? Good news or bad news? Good news. Bad news for ahankara because it won't die. Good news for the one who is seeking. So, hanta te. Te means tubhyam. Te tubhyam, alternative form. Te vam vaha. Okay. So tubhyam means unto you, for you, pravakshyami. I am about to tell. What is that? Future tense. Future tense, Uttama Purusha, singular. So hantate pravakshyami. What am I going to tell? Idam. What is this idam? Guhyam brahma sanatanam. I am going to tell you a secret. What is the best form of secret? Silence. Okay? Because you just don't talk. The best kept secret is in the form of silence, but here Lord Yama doesn't want to keep anything back. So he says, Guhyam pravakshyami. I am going to tell you a secret. What is the secret? Brahma pravakshyami. I am going to tell about Brahman. What kind of Brahman? The Brahman that does not die. Like the samhata things. Everything in the world dies, and the one who says everything in the world dies does not die. So, Guhyam Brahma, Sanatanam Brahma, He Hanta, He Gautama, Tubhyam Te Pravakshyami. I am going to tell you. And then, so I am going to tell you. And then what am I going to tell you? I am going to tell you something which is a secret. Why is it a secret? Because it is the best kept secret. Why? Because it's all out in the open and still people don't understand. The greatest wonder about Atma, Bhagavad Gita, what did it say? Shrutva api na veda kaschit. Even after telling, not once, year after year after year after year after year, how many years is that? 5 years of studying Vedanta. Still what is there? What? How? Who? And Atma? What's the difference between Atma and Anatma? What is Satyam and Mithya? These questions still remain. So it is a secret, but it's a funny secret, a peculiar secret, because where is it? Out in the open. Anybody can go. Read the translation of the Upanishad. And if you read the translation of the Upanishad, it will be like, you know, our Rakesh's songs. Yeah. butter, 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 no eating. Okay, like that it will be. So it will be like our songs. At least that we can understand. Here we cannot understand at all. We have seen so many things. That is whole, this is whole. One Shanti mantra gone. And a little bit of sanity also gone along with it. That is whole, this is whole. You take away the whole from the whole, what remains in the head is a big whole, H-O-L-E. And then Sahana Vavatu also we don't fare very well. Yeah. Sahanau Avatu. May He protect us both. May He nourish us both. May together we accomplish great things. May our studies be brilliant. Our both studies be brilliant. Who are these two people? People wonder. No, Shishya Guru. But then Shishya, the Guru has so many Shishyas. Then why is it in the dual? People don't understand. So here it's a Guhyam, means it will forever be a secret. Because the question that comes in the satsang, a very kind of anxious question that comes in the satsang, what will happen if everybody will get moksha? Then they will not do anything. They will all become akarta, abhokta. How will the world progress? What about all the innovations? And I always tell, don't worry, everybody will not get moksha. Why? Best kept secret. That's why. Even though the secret is right there, it is not at all studied. I went to somebody's house for bhiksha in the States, and then there they were saying, will you sign the Gita book for us? I said, sure. We inherited this Gita book from great-grandmother, and it was a very old book. It was falling apart, and they had glued it and bound it and everything. So I said, sure, I will sign it. I would in fact like to see what an ancient book 5 generations ago, great-great-great-grandmother's book looked like. I would like to see. Then the mother tells the daughter, where is it, where is it? And the daughter says, you know, I put it to prop the leg of the table. Bhagavan's table, don't worry, it is near Bhagavan's room table. It was going like that, and then so it was a big discrepancy, so I just stuck it in a little bit there. So you may own the Gita, but its secrets it cannot reveal to you. What does it become? The Gita has become a prop. Yeah, not proper, but nonetheless it is a prop. Okay, so like this, the Upanishad is wide all over the place, and then it remains Guhyam Gudham, Tam Gudham Anupravishtam, Guhahitam, Gahvareshtham Puranam, Adhyatma Yogadhigamena Devam, Matvadhiraha Nashochati. A famous verse from the Mandukya Upanishad. Kathopanishad, good. Okay, hesitatingly it came, but it came. Yeah. So then, so tam gudham, there also gudham, hidden, not for the eyes or any such thing, but for want of an appropriate pramana, hidden. And even when the appropriate pramana is there, for want of shraddha, recipiency is not there. So for without shraddha, if you give somebody, it is as good as a secret. It will not go through. There will be walls of distrust pushing the knowledge away. And so therefore it's the best kept secret. Then this is, he promises, Lord Yama is going to promise here to give 2 topics. First line, first topic. What is the first topic? This most secret, Sanatanam Brahmate Pravakshyami. I am going to tell you. And then the second topic is another famous satsang question. What happens when we all die? This is a very famous satsang question. Everybody wants to know. Out of the 2 topics, which is more popular? Second one, doubtless. Hands down, second one. This is why we keep all the psychics employed. What was I in my last birth? Please tell. What am I going to become in my next birth? Please tell. So the psychics are employed only because of us, because we have made the second topic most important. We want psychics to tell us, we want to know what exactly happens after I leave this body, and we read books such as Life After Life, and there it says you see some light, white light, and you hear some ringing sound, meaning you have checked out of this hotel room, ringing sound is heard, and then you are surrounded by compassion. This is all people who have had near death experiences, all right. NDE it is called. So clear, gone, and then after that what, 3-4 minutes they were gone, and then they were resuscitated, and after they were resuscitated they came back with all these stories. And then, so they were resuscitated, and they said they heard a ringing sound, and then what happened? Some kind of a portal opened, and it was all blank, white. They thought of it as light, and they felt very compassionate, and they could not really had any grudges or anything. And then they heard somebody say clear, shock, and then they were back in their body. Everybody wants to know more about this, more about that time. Tell me more. At some point the person has to start making up stuff, because that's all they remember. Okay, and then if you ask the doctors all this, they will give a response for each and everything that has happened. They say that when there is asphyxiation like thing, the mind becomes blank. You can't think. You see only white in front of the eyes, because there is oxygen deprivation to the brain. And you hear the ringing sound, the ears start to ring. It's your own ears that are ringing. There is not some Bhagavan temple bell or anything like that. Like this they will say. So now what is the truth? We will never know until we undergo. Okay? And then be sure to come back and tell. But we are here, we are not wanting to come back, so there is nobody to tell. So this will always remain a mystery. And so Yama knows that, because Nachiketa had already worded this question. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye asti iti eke nasti iti eke. So some people say it is there, something survives death. Some people say something does not survive death, which is true. So death becomes the most popular thing in the world. If you write a book, and if you somehow put death into it, then people will buy. That's why out of all the Upanishads, Kathopanishad is the most popular. Yes, death is the teacher. Death is the teacher. Wow, most popular, because people are obsessed with death. And then either they don't want to die, or they want to find out all the things about death. How it happens, when it happens, what goes first, which loved one do you see, which one do you not see, and which form of Bhagavan you see as soon as you die, all these things. And then to help us out, the Puranas are there. And then what else is there? Verses like this are there. So these are the two topics. Now, Bhagavan Yama, knowing that people's obsession with death, will take the second topic first. Because he knows we will not leave him alone until the death topic is taken up and explained. And then he will explain Brahma Guhyam Sanatanam, because that is more of an unfoldment, and he is going to take that up second. So the first topic that he is going to take up after this verse is what? Death and reincarnation, because that is also another obsession. Reincarnation. And people write books about their past life. This life itself, I don't know what to write. And then if you take up past life, what all to write? Very, very confusing. But people write so many past lives, because all this is a matter for human jignasa. People are very interested, and some people remember also. Some people remember they were a merchant going here, going there. The ship, what happens to ships? Overturned and capsized. That's the one. Ship capsized, drowned, and the next life they are very afraid of water because of that drowning example. All this is there. The Shastra tells us that. So, but people are obsessed with past life, and then sometimes they become prey to sycophants who will say, what? I will tell you about the past life. Give me $500 and I will tell you about the past life. Okay. So, what shall we say to them? Save your money. I will tell you for free. Yeah, anything you can tell. Doesn't matter, because there is no way of verifying it. So this past life becomes a very important thing. This belief in the past life is a very important component of the tradition. Yama, knowing that, is going to take up that topic first, finish it off only in one verse, and then take up the other topic. So then, yathacha means, then the next thing I'm going to tell you, maranam prapya atma katham bhavati. How does the jiva is after death? The atma here is jiva. Jivatma katham bhavati. How does the jiva progress after death? So the jiva here, katham bhavati iti pravakshyami. I'm going to tell. Okay, not much else to say, because these are the two topics, topic of death and rebirth. I'm going to take up first, and then the secret topic of the eternal Brahman. So then this is because the topic of rebirth becomes, there is a lot of jignasa for that, because there is no proof that I have died, then I have come back, there is no proof. And so therefore this is connected to the question that was asked earlier, where 1:120, and again anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, 1:14. Both these questions are going to be discussed first. The topic of rebirth. And then rebirth, we should look into rebirth, they think, because I want to see the mistakes I have made in the past, so that I don't repeat them. But the mistakes, you don't know what you have made, that is the problem, and more about it we will see in the next verse. And then so let us see. So there is one logic for rebirth. What is the logic? The krita nasha and akrita abhyagama. This is the logic. Krita nasha means, if there is no rebirth, all the punya that you have earned in this life, what will happen to it at the time of death? Bye bye, it will go. There is no rebirth, there is no travel, there is no sukshma sharira surviving. Nothing survives this birth. That means what will happen to the punya vishesha? Papas, of course, I can leave them behind, don't worry, but I want the punya. I want the punya. What will happen to my punya? Nasha. Krita nasha. This is the argument called krita nasha. And then what else? Krita nasha, and then akrita abhya. Akrita abhyagama. Akrita means, see now what has happened, there is no birth, correct? There is no rebirth. So in this life, let us say, somebody was born with some kind of a defect, could not walk, had to be in wheelchair most of their life. Like what was that man, that famous astronomer, Stephen Hawking. He had that Lou Gehrig's disease at a young age, but he defied all odds and survived for a very long time. But what kind of a life was it? It was just in the wheelchair, could not talk, could not eat anything, had to be on some protein powder, drinking that all the time. That's all it was, could not do anything. But brilliant mind, a very, very strange karma, correct? Now if we can say it's a strange karma, and it has carried over from the previous life, we can say that. But if you don't have the previous life, then what we have a condition called akrita abhyupagama. So akrita abhyupagama means the sandarbha, the situation where I have to undergo trials and tribulations for what? For something I have not done. I have not done this, because see, if you say there is only one life, then this is what the Shastra will give as the logic. This is Shruti Sammata Yukti or Shruti Anukula Yukti, because the Yukti, the logic, is in keeping with what the Shruti is telling. So this is what we are not able to explain. Even with the theory of karma, we are not able to explain. Why somebody is born in a rich family? Why somebody is born in a poor family? Why somebody has got many challenges, emotional, mental challenges? Why someone is just completely calm from day one? They were born with Chin Mudra pose. How is this explainable? How is this explainable? We don't know. So we can say, see, the scientists will say it is just nature. Scientists cannot explain this. Scientists cannot explain why somebody is born like this, why somebody is not like this. We cannot explain. And then, so therefore, so supposing somebody is undergoing tribulations, and the second person, like they could be identical twins. It could be identical twins, and even their fingerprints match, let us say. Okay, and then what? One of them, like in the Hindi movies, this is the plot of Hindi Bollywood. One of them becomes what? Celebrated police officer. And what does the other become? Other one become? Yeah, kingpin of a gang. All right, yeah. Now it is fun. So yeah, so this is the plot. So then the plot is all okay, it is entertaining, but what explains this plot? Why one fellow is like this and the other fellow is like this? Even the parents don't know. Even the twins don't know why we are like that, and even the parents don't know. In the same family, you will have a musical prodigy. You will have somebody who is composing music, whose life is full of music. And then the rest of the people in the family are tone deaf. Okay? Yeah. This person is so musical that even when they snore, sa re ga ma pa, they snore like that. And the other people, even when they speak, it is in apashruti. So therefore, this is what explains this. We have this explanation because otherwise we have to say God is partial. So that doesn't sit well, because that which is infallible is Bhagavan. So if we say Ishvara has Nairghrinya dosha, Nairghrinya means partiality and hatred. Love for some people and then hatred for some people. That's why somebody becomes successful, somebody is a loser, somebody is born rich, somebody is born without even 2 pennies to rub for the next meal. Somebody is born very, very talented. Somebody is still trying to find their purpose in life, life after life. So if God is not partial, if partiality for Ishvara has been denied by the Shastra, by the Bhagavad Gita, by the Upanishads, then we should not have this situation. Where my punya that I have done, my punya, my papa is no longer activated, and so therefore the circumstances of my birth I am not able to explain. Circumstances of somebody else's better birth also one is not able to explain. And if you just say this is all God, then the question comes, why did God give me the short end of the stick? Why did God give me a terrible life and give you a wonderful life? Then the person will have this rankling feeling. So therefore the reincarnation theory serves to be a shock absorber and serves to develop Shraddha and cultivate Shraddha in Bhagavan. Because the karma also becomes an order of Bhagavan, an order that is manifest as Bhagavan. So karma is not a mandate of Bhagavan. The karma theory is what? A manifestation of Bhagavan. And so therefore there is no krita nasha. Whatever is krita is taken, and there is no abhyagama of akrita. That which is not done, you don't have to suffer. That which you have done will come back to you only. Don't worry. Bhashya. Hanta idanim punarapi te tubhyam idam guhyam gopyam brahma sanatanam chirantanam pravakshyami. I am going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you two topics. Straightforward Bhashya. Idanim. Idanim means not now. Adi Shankara is so alert. What happened in 1, 2, what was that? I even forgot that. What happened in 1, 2, 14 and 1, 1, 20, he doesn't forget. Idanim means again. Idanim is not a new topic now. Idanim means Punarapi. Guhyam Brahma. Guhyam he translates as Gopyam. Gopyam means worth preserving, worth keeping sacrosanct. This Brahman which is Sanatanam. See, the Tana suffix means belonging to that time. So, Chirantanam, ancient, always there. And the most long-lived, the most ancient, I am going to tell you. Then, of course, the Shruti doesn't say this, but Adi Shankara wonders, why is this going to be told? Yad Vijnanat Sarva Samsara Uparamaha Bhavati. So this knowledge is important. Why? Yad Vijnanat, knowing which the samsara commits suicide. Uparama here means suicide. Samsara dies. Samsara takes one look at the jnani and decapitates itself. It just says, oh my God, yeah, I feel like killing myself because this person is not going to come under my bluff anymore. So out of sorrow, samsara itself commits suicide, depression commits suicide, and the desire to kill oneself commits suicide, and then fear commits suicide, and uparamaha means the total and sudden cessation of samsara, in the wake of which knowledge that happens. And then that is what I am going to tell, because this is the jnana phala. Adi Shankara will always take a little time to just wedge in a little bit of the vision. He will not spare any context to not give us the vision. Every context he will take to give us the vision. So Vijnanat, what happens? Sarva samsarasya uparamaha. And then avijna. Avijnanat, what happens? If you don't know what happens, avijnanacha yasya maranam prapya yatha atma bhavati yatha samsarati Shrinu he Gautama. Beautiful connection. Do you see the beauty of this connection? The first topic and the second topic are beautifully connected by Adi Shankara by saying that this sacred Brahman, I am going to tell you, Lord Yama says, and Adi Shankara adds, knowing which one is free from samsara, utterly free from samsara, immediately free from samsara, not knowing which, what happens? The jiva, the atma here means jiva, gaining death from the body, visram samanasya, sharirasya, vimuchyamanasya, dehat, what happens? Yatha bhavati, yatha samsarati. How does the Atma travel? Because samsara has not committed suicide. For who? For the jnani or ajnani? Ajnani. For the ajnani, samsara is very much alive, kicking, and kicks around the jiva like a ball from one life to another life, kicked by samsara, goes and falls. It's like samsara is playing a golf game with the jiva. Yeah, most boring game, but somehow people play it, and then you just go, and then there are some 18 holes, and then it falls in one hole, and then you take it out, and then go and then put it in the next hole. So it is just like the various janmas. This is what it is. And suffice it to say, every janma is a hole. Okay, pun intended. Yeah. It's a holy janma, full of holes, full of pitfalls. So then, therefore, not knowing which samsara upashamaha, and not knowing which samsarasya what? Samsarasya reproduction, samsarasya santatihi. The reproduction of samsara takes place because the jiva goes round and round and round. Please listen to this most interesting topic. Who? He Gautama. So then, as I told you, the second, the karma part is going to be taken up first. Yoni manye prapadyante sharirastvaya dehinah sthanu manyenu sanyanti yatha karma yatha shrutam. Yeah. Anye means kechit ajnaha, kechana, some people. Anye, some people. Yonim prapadyante. Yonim prapadyante means they gain birth canals, wombs. Yoni means womb here. Birth canal, womb. They gain the womb. And what do they? Why do they gain the womb? Womb after womb. First tomb, and after the tomb what? Womb. So from tomb to womb, this is how Shastra presents. And how do the people in the world present? From womb to tomb. But since there is no cessation of samsara, from womb to tomb to womb to tomb to womb to tomb. You can begin anywhere, end anywhere, doesn't matter. Okay? So, from the tomb, came back to the womb. Why? Missed Vedanta. Vedanta went by and then went bye-bye and then did not study Vedanta, did not know the true nature. So, again came back into samsara. Who? Anye, kechit. So, some people. Then what happens? Who are these people? Dehinaha. These embodied people who were embodied in the last life, they hanker after Sharira, Sharirattvaya, to get the status of being embodied again. The indweller. The indweller had a body in the previous life, doesn't have a body now and is hungry for a body. Why? Because hungry, period. Hungry means full of desires. So if you are hanging around, if there is Sukshma Sharira which nobody can see, you can't, nobody can see you and you are just there. Then how will you ask for this knowledge? Hey Guru, you may say, but Guru doesn't hear you. I'm sitting right here. Guru doesn't see you. Shastra doesn't see you. And also, even the desire for Atma is not possible to fulfill. And even though there are stories of all these, what are they called? Brahma Rakshasas. So if you know Vedanta and don't teach, and then what happens after death? If you know anything, even music, all these, if you don't teach, you hoard the knowledge to yourself, you become a Brahma Rakshasa. A Rakshasa that knows Brahman, a ghost that knows Brahman. And then the desire to teach is there, sits under a tree and catches hold of potential students and doesn't leave them. That is the idea. So, and then, so like this, the person cannot be embodied for too long because of the force of the desires makes us custom order a body like a suit. Custom ordered suit. Some suits you can go to the shop and buy. Some dresses, so you can go to the shop and buy. No. I want everything made. I want everything made to fit me. And so the tailor will make you stand like this and sew it right there. Sew it right there. So tight that you can't even put your arms down. So like that, I want a custom made dress. I want a custom made suit. It has to just fit me. With all the quirks in my body, it should not fit anybody else. That kind of a suit I want. And that is your new body. It fits only you for your own desires and for your own karma kshaya to take place. Depends on what kind of karma you have, how much of which karma you have, how much of papa, how much of punya, and you custom order a body based on the karma. Sharirattvaya, because without Sharira, the dancing desires cannot be fulfilled. The clamoring desires need an outlet. Your body is the host for the desires to fulfill themselves. Okay, your body becomes is held hostage by those desires, and then then what happens? Sthanu anye. So these are the regular people, anye, just regular anye. Many people, what do they do? They take on various bodies in keeping with their karma. Then some others, who are they? Atyanta papishtaha, people who have too much papa pradhana sharira, they take on. What is the papa pradhana sharira? Plant, tree. Why? Because everybody can abuse the tree. It can neither see, it doesn't have any indriya vyapara except tvak, the sense of touch it has. Other than that, it doesn't have anything. No indriya vyapara, and then nothing is there, and then it is still alive, and it has to be in one place. No free will. This is an extreme life. So tree and other kinds of parasites on the tree which are alive, like barnacles, mushrooms, all these things are there. This is all called sthanu. Generally people think sthanu means stone. It doesn't mean stone. It means this kind of plant life. So plant life also they take on. Sthanu manye anusanyanti. And how? What is the logic for this? Yatha karma. Karma here means according to the karma that was done in this life and other previous lives. And yatha shrutam. Yatha shrutam means yatha, what is that called? Yatha anushtanam. Anushtanam anatikramya. Not crossing the kinds of religious rites and upasanas you had done in the last life. So if you have done a lot of meditation, according to that also, and then karma and upasana. Yatha karma, yatha anushtanam, other various religious anushtanam, especially upasana. This is the meaning. So anye yonim prapadyante. So there is a logic. The logic is not Darwinian theory. Like, okay, I have come from a single-celled animal. What is that called? Amoeba, etc. And then in the science class, when we were young, we were made to draw it. And then it was very wonderful for those of us who could not draw, because it could be in any shape. First you draw one blob with a few dots inside it, and then you make that double, and then you make that into 4. Then you see the reproduction of the amoeba, the life cycle of the amoeba, single-celled animal. And then from that, from the most simplest form of life to the most complex form of life, all these life forms are waiting. But it is not Darwinian in nature, in the sense that from single cell, like last time I was amoeba, this time I will become a mushroom, next time I will become a tree, after that I will become an animal. No. Even now, if I am a human being and if I behave like an animal, what will I be? Animal. That's what it is. So it's not that, oh, now I am a human being, now I am in the realm of human being, I cannot be anything else. No. That's why it is called Chyutihi. Dropping is possible. Going back is possible. And so therefore it is yatha karma, yatha shrutam. And according to one's karma, according to all the other religious disciplines and upasana that one has done, one is gaining this next life. And so then the question comes, what is the pramana for rebirth? Where does the Shastra talk about rebirth? If anybody asks, you can point to this mantra. This is the mantra where you take where the Shastra is the pramana. Shastra is the proof for the rebirth. Shastra is the pramana. Where does Shastra talk about rebirth? In many places, and most famous one is right here. And so then, so sthanu means trees, plants. Sthanu does not mean mountains, even though they are not moving. Actually, in the Puranas, the mountains had wings. Imagine if it is coming to land and you are standing right there. People got frightened. And prayed to Indra. Indra said, "Oh, I also don't like these flying mountains." And then he went and personally cut off all their wings. And some sunk into the ocean because they didn't know how to be on the ground. Some sunk into the ocean. That's why there are mountains under the ocean. So, thank God the mountains don't have wings. They were sthavaras, I suppose, and now they have become what? They were some kind of a plant life or animal life. Now they have become unmoving. So, sthanu means tree. And then if we know, how do we know that the mountain and stone is not alive? Maybe it has a form of life. It's not a form of life. Even though you might tell your friends in jest. What will you tell? Next time I'll be born as a stone. You will not be born as a stone. Two reasons. Because these are signs of life. What is the first sign of life? Metabolism. Eats food and throws out waste. Everything that is sentient, that is alive, eats food and throws out waste. From the simplest to the most complex being. That is the first sign of life, because there is metabolism. What is the second sign of life? Reproduction. It makes babies so that it can continue, the species can continue. So, one day you see one stone, second day is there a baby stone next to it? Not possible, except in stories. In Tennali Raman, one minister was there in the Vijayanagar Empire, very intelligent and witty. So one time he borrowed 10 patrams, vessels, he borrowed from the neighbor. And they were a little nervous to give it to him because they said, that's a lot of vessels, what will we do? Don't worry, I'll return it. And then few days later, he returned them 20 vessels. And they were surprised, you only borrowed 10 from us. And he said, you perhaps didn't know this, the vessels were pregnant when they came to my house, and in my house they birthed the babies, and of course since the vessels are yours, the baby vessels are also whose? Yours. And the neighbors were very happy. They said, what a fool this fellow is. And then few weeks later, he borrowed 25 vessels from the same neighbor. And then what happened? They gave it happily, thinking, oh, now how many will come back? 50 will come back at least. And they joked also, hope they are pregnant. Yeah, I think a few of them are pregnant. And then weeks and weeks and weeks went by, and then Tennali Raman did not return even a single vessel. What happened? Then they knocked on the door. What happened? I'm sorry, all your vessels died. So, it is not like that. So, signs of life include metabolism and reproduction. More we'll see bright and early tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru